Villawood Properties, premier partner of the Rupertwood Football Netball Club.
Welcome to the big grand final edition of The Tank. I'm Dylan Podolzak. I'll be hosting the show again. On tonight's show, we'll be having a chat with the 2018 Charlie Watson medalist and also the lead goal kicking winner in the under-19 and the halves. Also have a chat to the president, Brad Pietromonaco, and then have a look at the injury toll from the year with Paul Ross. Alright, let's get on with the show.
Reserves preliminary final saw our boys bow out and a gallant loss to Diggers, 9-7-61 to 4-2-26. 4 single goal kickers and Xavier Quinn again best for Rupertwood.
Okay, we're here with the under-19 and a half Rupertwood Football Club coach, Bruce Sutton. Welcome to the show, mate.
How you going, mate?
Just tell us a little about this week, grand final, big rematch from last year. Just tell them, are we better prepared than last year?
I think we are. We had a pretty solid side last year, but unluckily we had a few injuries which held us back during the game there, and weren't good enough on the day. Whereas this year we're pretty much going in pretty much full strength, and the boys have come together really well as a group, and can't wait to get it on actually.
All right. On Sunday it'll be 2 weeks since you've played. Just tell us about how that week off's been.
It's been really good, just a good freshen up for the boys. They've trained really well, really come together really well as a group, and the players that we've had come back in are really going to give us a fantastic boost going into Sunday.
Perfect, mate. Lastly, just give us what will be your main point on Sunday for the boys when they're going out?
Just to be hard and tough and go as hard as we can, as long as we can, until we win. So it's all going to come down to the midfield. We win the midfield, we win the game. So yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, mate, sounds good. All the best. Good luck.
Thanks, Phil.
No worries.
In the netball B grade preliminary final day, saw Rupertwood 32 advance to a grand final by defeating Diggers Rest 21. Lucy Padina scoring 21 goals, and best were Georgia Hellier, Tilly Elliott and Eloise Freeman. Hopefully all of our 3 sides can bring home the bacon this weekend. Good luck, girls.
Jacob, welcome to the Tank, boys.
Thank you.
Just first of all, congratulations, mate, on League BNF and under-19s. How many games did you play?
Yeah, it was good. Played 9 in the end, so that was alright. Good to get up.
Yep, fair enough. Now, Jacob, we heard you smashed the goal kicking as well for the year. How many goals did you kick, mate?
Kicked 61 this year.
Ooh, that's a couple of snags.
Yeah.
Who comes second?
Some bloke from Bolton, I think.
How many goals, mate?
24 maybe.
Jesus, so you pretty much smashed it. Speaking about this week, big grand final coming up. Obviously we're versus Wallen again, same as last year. Rematch. Is all better prepared than last year, Jake?
Yeah, we owe them a bit from last year. They've definitely got a good list this year, and I'll back us in. We've got a good list, and we've been hitting the track hard, so look forward to it.
How are you, Jacob?
Yeah, I reckon the boys this year's had like a much better vibe, and I reckon we've got them this year for sure.
Oh, perfect. Just touch with you, Jake, a bit. This year you played a couple of seniors games. Just tell us about that experience, mate.
Yeah, it was good to get up the grades with the senior boys. Yeah, learn a lot, so hopefully we can bring it back to the 19s this week and get around all the boys.
Perfect. Now, just talking a little bit about next year, looking forward to getting out of the under-19s and then hopefully going into the seniors, mate?
Yeah, hopefully I can get a few senior games next year. I haven't played one yet, but hopefully next year's the year.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Well, thanks for coming on the show, boys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Morfab Engineering, platinum partner of the Rupertwood Football Netball Club.
Okay, so we're here with Paul Ross for the injury update, mate. Just tell us how the injury's going.
Second half of the season was pretty ordinary for old Rupo, but yourself with your broken leg.
Yep.
Coming along well.
Yeah, it's come along well. All healed up now, mate. So
Yep, that's
should be
good.
good for next year.
Cam McCrory finished up with concussion, didn't play in the last final, but he's recovered from that. We've got Chambo, who had the broken arm midway through the season and then finished up with an ACL, which he probably had at the same time of the season. But if you don't tell him he's got an injury, he doesn't know about it.
That's it.
He just keeps playing. Bryce Caldone, an ankle. Lockie Muir, an ankle. Putty, well, we'll just call it general soreness for
I think
Putty.
he's had that all year.
Yeah, from the waist down. Netballs are all fit for the finals this weekend,
sure are.
and the under 19s are all raring to go as
That's
well.
it.
So we're looking forward to a good finish to the season.
Perfect. Hopefully next year get a bit more luck with injuries and
Yeah, you've got to have luck to win a grand final. I don't care what anyone says. So we'll see how we go.
That's it. Oh, thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries. Thanks. Bud.
Okay, so we're here with El Presidente, Brad. Welcome to the show, mate.
Dills, how are you, mate? Thank you.
Yeah, good. Just from your perspective, just tell us as a president how the year went, mate.
I was wrapped in everyone this year as a president. Even the committee were very happy. People might say it's a failure. You go out in straight sets. It's not the best and the ideal situation, but I think the groups are a lot tighter in the reserves, seniors, 19s. The club's come a long way. We've learned a lot where we've got to go and where we've got to get to. For the players, I feel for them because, as I said, we dominate home and away series, but injuries, we don't make excuses.
That's
Reserves got a little bit further than I thought, and touch with the 19s can bring some trophies home for us, but we'll be bigger, better and stronger next year. Financially, the club's in a really good position. We can go shopping this year pre-season, pick up a few key players hopefully, and it's been a huge tip from the committee to the players who, we gave the club back to the players and they've stood up and behaved themselves well, shown a lot of respect. Same with the members, so the club's in a very healthy position, and I've been saying for a while now the dynasty it's not far away.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Just tell us this week we've got the big grand final coming up. What duties will we be doing on the day?
So it's financially a very big day for the club. We got the beer rights, which is good. We had the Prelim last year, which is a taste of what we can and can't do. Yep. So this is icing on the cake for the club financially, which is great. We've probably got about 15 helpers out this year for the bar, which is great. We had the raffle first semi, which wasn't too bad. So that's icing on the cake for the club financially to move forward, and we probably won't see any bar or canteen for 6 years now for the RDFL, so we'll take the most of it now. So it's a big day for us financially. Netball, 3 sides in, under 19, so it leaves a little bit of pressure for the committee. Still be a long day, and we'll celebrate hard Sunday and Monday.
What time's the bar open, mate?
Which one?
The one at Clark Oval.
Clark Oval, midday on Sunday. Netball will probably kick on back here at about 3 o'clock. Doors will be open here for God knows how long on Sunday.
So all the members are welcome down as well?
Members, mums, dads, grandmas, whoever you want to bring down.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Should be a good day to finish off the year. And then next Friday night, presentation night down the Luxor, and celebrate the awards and what a year it's been.
Yeah, beautiful. Just one last question, mate. You've had a bit of injury to yourself this year. How's your calf going?
Calf's no good. Pulled up a bit lame last Thursday. Went and saw Mr. Nash this week. Gave me another jab and pretty much told me some home truths.
Yep. So you're going to listen this time?
I'll listen to what the coach said today, actually. It was quite interesting. He said I'd struggle to get a game of feeder, which shattered me. So I think my playing days are done, but I'll still have a run with the boys next year, and they can laugh at me.
Oh, fair enough. Well done, Brad, on another year as president, and hopefully we get some wins on the board this weekend and take a couple of premierships home.
Appreciate Dills, and also appreciate Rod with what he's done with the filming this year. It's taken off, and it's been a really good thing to watch, and I think a lot of other clubs have taken it on board, so appreciate everything everyone's done.
Well done, Rod.
Pinnacle Print Group, Platinum Partner of the Rupertwood Football Netball Club.
Finally, don't forget, we got a presentation night coming up in a few weeks. Be sure to get a ticket off Lauren and pay up. Grand finals this weekend. The club's running the bar at Clark Oval, so make sure we get around that and help the club out. We'll just say a big thank you to Rod this year putting on the tank. It's been a big effort and it's grown in leaps and bounds, and hopefully we're back bigger and better next year. So all the best, and hopefully we have some premiership cups back at the club on Sunday night. That's it.
Want to sort of be sensible with our money. We went down to the land office at Armstrong, and they'd put specific blocks of land aside. The fact that I was a midwife working up at the hospital made us eligible for that care workers program.
The ones we are concerned about is the care workers. It's a bit of an issue. We want to make sure we give those people opportunity to buy at the old prices.
That sort of made up our mind for us, really. Where we'll be situated, we'll be surrounded by lovely parks and bushland, so it's sort of like the best of both worlds, really.
Welcome to another big edition of the RDFNL Senior Footy Show. Thanks to our friends at On Time Delivery Solutions. My name's Yeendy. I'm joined by Tara Murray. It is grand final week, and we've got 3 big games of footy on the weekend, which is going to be exceptional.
It is, and all 3 of them could go either way. You've probably got a standout in each of them who have been throughout the season, but then you've got the other sides who have shown come finals time they can stand up, they can get the job done. And look, a couple of the sides that finished second in both the reserves and the 19s upset the minor premiers in the first round. So, Wallam finished third and upset the minor premiers in the reserves. So you've got sides who have come up and got those upsets in the finals, and then now you've got the other sides who are looking to get back to them and trying to take those premierships.
Let's start from the ground up. The big game at 9:30, which of course, thanks to our friends at Gav and Paul for leading this one. Highlands FM will be broadcasting the day, which is fantastic. So wherever you go, you'll be able to listen to the game as we talk up Rupert's Wood and Wallen. As we highlighted, we saw this game last year, and Wallen played some amazing football to win pretty comfortably and confidently. Can they do it again on a big ground that we've got at Clark Oval?
Well, that's going to be interesting. Obviously, these 2 sides have played each other twice in recent weeks. They played each other in the final round of the season. Magpies got a big win. First final, you had Rupert's Wood got a big win. So you've had a little bit of a mixture there. The one time they did play during the season, they ended up splitting the points because that was the day Liam Birch ended up collapsing. And look, we got a good ending out of that one. So in the end, there was no result from that match. And you look at that there. So they've been pretty even. The last couple of years, they've been pretty even. And we've seen a lot of this young talent, not only in the 19 level, it's also progressed through to the senior level. So they've been the 2 dominant sides for the last couple of years. Rupert's Wood a 6th straight grand final, as we said earlier in the week. So it'll be interesting. I think Wallen will be wanting to get one back over Rupert's Wood after losing that first final. They would have liked to have gone through the easy way for the finals. They've had to come through the hard way, but it means they've played every single week, and they've got that consistency and form going into the grand final.
I do feel on paper with Wallen's form and their playing list, they've probably got a lot more mature players and more experienced players in that upper echelon of the age group itself, whereas Rupert's Wood, I think they've still got a good young list, but a lot of the guys that play for Wallen, I'm happy to be corrected on this one, but I think Wallen had a lot of players that played in the grand final last year, and a lot of them there's been a handful of tasted a little bit of senior football. But you know what, the big addition that might actually fall in the Sharks' hands is that we don't know at this point in time, but Jake Sutton might get the opportunity to drop back down into the grand final, which is going to be, that'll be a fantastic asset for the Sharks to have.
And you obviously mentioned Jake. He took out the under-19 league best and fairest, so he missed. I think it was the last 6 games or something like that, playing seniors as well. So I think it was a little bit of the story as well that I think the guy who finished second from Wallen also missed several games playing seniors. So
Tommy Knight and one of the other other guys in there that escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, you had a few that missed games because they're playing senior football, so they've dropped back. If they can get those guys into, adds a little bit more experience into side. Even like I think Jake Sutton's still eligible for under 17s.
Yeah.
He's got that senior experience and he was performing on that higher level, so he brings that back to him. I think both of these sides, played a lot of juniors in their top sides, so there is a lot of experience for both of those sides dropping back.
How do you see this one unfolding?
Look, I think Wallen, even though they did lose that first final, I think we'll still go in favourites.
I think it was a bit of a shock when I was there that morning when it happened, and Rupert's Wood just went bang. I think they kicked 2 or 3 goals really quickly, and there was just like this gasp around the ground, and people were like, what's happening here? This is no disrespect to Rupert's Wood, but it was kind of they just burst out of the blocks, and it was just wow, finals has arrived, and that's happened.
And look, and that's probably the key to the match. If whoever gets off to that better start probably set up the win. Obviously, we had the Sharks on that day. The occasion before that was the Magpies. The Sharks can get off to that fast start. I think they'll be hard to stop. We've seen what they can do when they're in grand final. They've absolutely smashed sides in grand final. So if they get on top early, big danger signs for Wallen. But I think it'll be a lot closer than that first final as well.
Your tip for this one?
I'm going to tip Wallen.
Yep, I'm going to tip with Wallen on that one as well. And for I think the key player to stand out is one of my favourites on the footy field. And I know he and I have had a good rivalry over the journey, but Tommy in the number 43 Guernsey there for Wallen. He is a great forward. He gets in the middle. He's like a bull. He loves a good contest, and I think he will be the difference maker for the Pies to get up. As we talk up a reserves grand final action, and we've got Wallen taking on Diggers Rest. So this is going to be an interesting contest. Wallen have had the week off, and here they are ready to go.
And you've got Diggers Rest, who were the minor premiers. So they did lose in that semi-final to Wallen, so they've had to come the hard way through. And obviously in the prelim final, Diggers Rest had a solid last quarter. They kicked 4 goals to none over Rupert's Wood to get through to the grand final. And you look, that whole playing list, that whole open age playing list for Diggers Rest is still available this week, so there's a lot of fight for spots. So there's no taking it easy, there's no looking at we want that spot. Whether there's a couple of guys that might come out of the senior side, there's a little couple of injury concerns which may affect the reserves, but I think with their senior side just about at full strength now, there's probably reserves is nearly at full strength as well, so it'll be quite an interesting one there. You've got Wallen, who were runners up last year, and you've got Diggers Rest, who won it the year before that, so you've got two sides who have been on the big stage at this time of year in the reserves competition.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think the key thing for the Boroughs is what happens in their forward line. If Mick Kilty, who kicked 5 or 6 last weekend, so if he stays in the team, we know we can all recall what happened with the grand final a couple of years ago at senior level, where he kicked the match-winning goal, so to speak, and he was sort of the hero and the villain in the same afternoon. But if he plays in the reserves, he kicks another bag. I just think with Joey Piccolo at his feet, I think they're going to be very hard to beat.
Look, I think they're going to be hard to beat too. And we speak about those sides losing a shock final like that. I think that would have really hurt the Boroughs, where their reserves have come through the hard way. Their seniors were the favourite. Sorry, their reserves were the favourites. Their seniors have come through the hard way. I think the reserves will probably get the win.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Wallen's reserves list off the bat, but what we can highlight is that the only stumbling block the Diggers Rest have had all year is Wallen. So, and they've done it twice. So,
whether there's a mental side of that?
Yeah. That's sort of, without Wallen having some of the big standout stars, at the end of the day, they seem to match up well. And look, Diggers Rest will be going for 3rd time's a charm, but Wallen will be hoping that they continue that run.
Exactly, and they'll be hoping to make it 2 premierships within the space of 2 matches.
Absolutely right. That'll be a cracker. But of course, Wallen did go down in the grand final last year, so looking to make amends for that. As we talk up the big senior game, the big blockbuster, we've got the Bombers and the Boroughs for, I'm losing track now. It's 5 or 6 times in the last sort of 13 or 14 years since I know I've been around RDFNL senior football, and if we got a game like 2016, look out, this one is going to be a cracker.
That's what I'm hoping for. I think most people in the crowd will be hoping for a grand final, except if you support the Boroughs or the Bombers. You'll want a little bit bigger gap than that. But if we can get a cracker like that, we'd be in for a brilliant day. As for those who don't know, it was a tie at the end of regular time last time, so they had to play extra time before the Boroughs got across the line. So you had, obviously you mentioned Mick Kilty, Jace Williams did a little bit as well. I think he kicked the final goal. And you had and took that classic mark as well. I think we've seen plenty of pictures
Tommy
of
Gleeson,
that one.
the heroic effort to play to the tune of the Titanic.
Exactly, and it was a brilliant game. If we can get that again, I think this time we'll go in. Riddle will be red hot favourites. Last time Diggers Rest were favourites. This time will be Riddle. Riddle hasn't lost a game since round 3. Has absolutely dominated dominated everyone they've played against. They played Diggers Rest in the semi-finals, beat them there, and that was Diggers Rest's biggest loss of the year. I think it was only 24 points, so not a massive loss by any means, but it was still the Borough's biggest loss of the year. And saying that, the Boroughs have beaten the Bombers. Not many teams can say that, but they beat them back in round 3. They were the last team to get across the line.
Yeah, will they do it again is the multi-million-dollar question. I mean, people are going to be drawing comparisons, and fair enough, between 2016 and 2018, but I mean, with Riddle's lineup now, they're going for 16 wins in a row. Look, and the Boroughs, I mean, they're a quality side, but it's really hard to tip against Riddle.
Look, I think it's a very different grand final 2016. You've got your in 2016, the Bombers came from nowhere, sort of surprised a lot of people. A very young
team. Like Romsey did in 2015, I think.
Exactly. They're still a very young team, the Bombers, but they've got a little bit more experience. You've got a lot of these guys who have got 2-3 years in the system now, and they're really showing as that group. They've got a lot of depth, as we saw. Their 19s made a prelim final. The reserves are in finals as well, so there is a lot of depth across the board there, where you've got the Boroughs, who they have started to bring a little bit more youth in, but we're still seeing a lot of your experienced heads, your class as well, and we've seen that come finals time. Obviously, Taylor Hines being their best player across the finals. You've got Matthew Metcalf, who has come in this year, who I reckon could quite possibly have a day out. He does love...
He's had a good final series.
He has had a good final series, and he does love Clark Oval as well. So
he knows that better than anyone in the comp.
He does, and that's what you look. If he can get on fire, I've seen him kick bags of 4 or 5 at that ground that he can absolutely dominate. So that it's very different to 2016. But saying that, you've still got the Boroughs as probably the more experienced side of the two. Your Bombers come into it as red hot favourites.
Yeah, and I think Riddle played only once or twice over at Clark Oval over the journey, so they haven't had the experience there before. So I don't know how that'll play into their hands, but I think it'll be incredible, particularly up forward. Nolan's going to have a day out, is he? Or how they're going to use Tom Gleeson? There's plenty of question marks around this one.
Well, you look, Riddle did play there the first week of the finals and had a quite convincing.
Or was it a 22-point win?
No, sorry, they didn't play the first one. They played at Romsey, sorry. Yep, but I know they did beat Romsey last year at Clark Oval, so they have played there as well. Boroughs have had a little bit of a mixed...
They went down to the prelim last year.
And I think they lost a semi there as well. So they have had mixed results at Clark Oval. You look, it's the side who can run the most because you've got a bigger ground. Saying that Romsey Park is a big ground, Clark Oval's even a little bit bigger. So if you've got the sides that can run, get that open space on the wings, and get the ball going, that's a key for this game.
Your tip for this one?
I'm going to stick with Riddle.
And who will be the Doug McIntyre medalist for best on ground?
Dylan Tarkson.
Oh, Taco! I mean, his ego is pretty pumped up as it is. So look out. So I'm gonna. As many know, I reside in Diggers Rest, and I love the club dearly, and all the great work that Carol Gleeson and the team do over there. But I will tip Riddle, and my mate Hayden Ross will have a day out. He'll get 5 goals on the board and win the game. So there you go, H. You better get the job done there. It is shaping up to be a fantastic finale, and of course. With our support from On-Time Delivery Solutions, it's always exciting. But as we have discussed, Tara, off air, is that we will we'll meet again next week, and we will discuss and wrap up how the grand finals are gone. So again, I get to say thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks for having me.